Okay, so today we are going to learn array. So what is meaning of array? Why do we need to use? So before array, how we used, so those things first we will learn, then we'll get into the array. So before coming to that array, so our way of approach was different. Let's take second. Let's take I have int a is equal to 10, int b is equal to 20. So likewise, I have five elements: 40, 50. So these are the five elements I have. So these five elements, what is the data type here? So these all five elements data type is integer, but this variable name is different. Ultimately, the data type everything is in integer type. Okay. So when I'm going to use, I'm going to use declaring a variable name and the data type, then value. So likewise, I'm going to be write it subsequent. So if I required 10 fields, then I have to add like this for 10. How about 100? So again I need to be add 100 like this. So ultimately the type is everything is in integer type. Okay, and you have to add multiple. So to avoid this complexity, but everything is same data type. So why don't we write it a single? Okay, so single in the sense everything keep it into that uh, set. Okay, so like this 10, 20, and so on. So how many I required? So if I required 100, at the end of the 100 will come. Okay, so here 100 is coming. So this entire thing is integer type. Okay, let's take if I give it as a integer for this int a. So some notation will be there. That is we will see a little bit later. So this entire a is representing this set. So this a is pointing to how many values you have, that everything is going to be pointing at here. Instead of this writing 10, 20, 30, 40 with different kind of variable names, so this is tedious job and maintenance also it is very hard. So to avoid these things, we are going to use a single set. So this is one of the major advantages here. And one thing in array is representing, these all are the index based. It's a zero index. The second one is index 1. So likewise, so array is starts with the index 0. Okay, then it's incrementing. It's an indexed collection of indexed elements and a type. What is the type here? Data type. It's all are integer type. So the definition, if you see, array can be represent a collection of elements with a homogeneous means same data type. If you are going to handle such scenario, you can go ahead with the array. But array, when you are going to use, there is some limitation. So you should give it some size. Let's take if I give it a size is 100 at here. So I can insert only 100 elements. If I want to insert 101, that is next element 101, then array will be giving error. So it will say that array index out of bound exception. So that means my capacity is 100. You are giving more than that. So it will give it exception. So that is one of the limitation at array. You can define it, what is the size of array. You can fill the elements up to that. If you want to fill it beyond that, it will not allow it. Okay, so that is the array representation. So if you see that some definition way, array is a fixed collection of same data elements. Just we seen that same data elements is integer type we just see, and it is a data structure related. The next thing is, so array represents a group of same values assigned to a single name. So the single name we just seen that it is pointing to int a, but that notation is not exactly the correct one. So how you can write it? So for that, let me take it the board again. So I have int a. This is the way you need to write it. Then if I write 10, 20, 30, so 50. Let's take I have 5 elements. So these 5 elements, whatever I have, it will be in this notation, and it's separation of like this. It's like a data structure, how you was learned it earlier in your academics. And the notation will be, it's indexed based, as I said earlier. It is 0 notation starts from 1, 2, 3, and this is 4. So total, what is the size? It has 5 elements. So this A is representing to this array. So this entire set, whatever the array, this 5 elements is representing by A. That means this is the variable name, and type is integer type. Wherever you are seeing this kind of thing, okay, so this represents, it's a array notation like this one. So this is the array notation. Sometimes you might see here the size. Here you need to tell that what is the size of this one. Okay, not exactly in this point. You need to create the object for that. So how you can do, int a as a declaration, and then use the new operator, then a of 5. This is the exact notation. So this means you are just initializing here, then you are telling that my array size is 5. Okay, so if you are giving this approach this way, at a backend how it will be, so the same, let's split it into 5 sections, because my array size is 5, 2, 3, and 4 and 5. Okay, so my array size is 5. Integer, what is the integer default value? Default value is 0. So here 0, then here also 0. So like this it will be. So because I have not inserted any values in this array, so when you declare with a and size, if you specify at backend, it will be taking like this. So memory is allocating for that, and filled with the default values. So when you are going to start inserting the values, let's take, if I want to insert, the first value is 10, and second value are not inserted, and third value if you inserted as a 30. So memory it will be alerting like this. So here instead of 0 it will be replaced with 10. So the second value, which is the index is 1, it's still maintaining as a 0. And the third one, if I change the index of value 2, instead of 0, put it as 30, then inside the memory it will be holding 38 here. So that means replaced with 0, 30 will be placed in memory. Okay, so likewise, it is going to be allotted at the backend memory side. So this is indexed. So indexed collection of homogeneous. Homogeneous means it's the same kind of elements. It's all are integer type. Okay, so that is the array notation. So this is the way you can write the syntax for that integer type. You can write different type also, like float, double, string. Okay, so whatever the data types you learn, all the data types it will be having the compatibility. So here how you can declare it. So when you are going to declare, okay, so you write it int a of. So you can write it different way, like this braces, whatever square braces you have, you can write it after the a or before a. So you can put it the space. So there is no issue at all. So this is the one is declaration of array. So the next thing is we have different kind of arrays. Single line array and dimensional array, multi-dimensional array, anonymous array. So what is that and how we can use those things? Let's see that one by one. So before getting to that, first we will write one sample program for array, then we will go to that next concept. Let me write the program for that array. Just put it array sample example. So public static void main. So just now I told that array how you can declare int a. If I give it like this at the backend, how it will be? Just give a minute. So at backend, int a of. So if you write like this, backend how it will be? So a is equal to null. So like this, it will be assigning it a backend. Okay, so it will take it as single array. It's pointing to a, and inside the value is this is nothing will be there. You just put it as integer type, not the sorry, it is not the null value. It will be 0 will be there like this. Then this a is pointing to this one. Sorry, this is pointing to this way. So a is pointing to 0. Okay, likewise it will be there at the backend. Same thing you can declare in different way. A, this is another one, but already a is used, so you can change it to, let me put it a1. So int of, so p2, all are valid. Okay, so this is single dimensional. Okay, wherever you are going to use like this is the single dimensional. So in future we are going to use it like this also. So this is multi-dimensional. So in this multi-dimensional, it will commit as 2 3, 4, like this. So these all are the valid. So that means you are using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dimensional array. So instead of, okay, this 7 dimensional array is absolutely correct, but it's very rare to use. Mostly 3 dimensional is the max in the real time cases. This is also very rare scenario. 2 dimensional, we can use it also. So this 2 dimensional, when you are going to use it, it will be used this way, or this is valid way. Okay, and the next thing is, if you write it, this is also valid. So this is different kind of initialization. Okay, not, sorry, not the initialization, it is a declare. So this is declare a a1 b2, you declared an array. So how you can use it? Let's take, if I use it as single dimensional, let me put it as single dimensional for time being. So how you can initialize? So a equal to new int of, see, it is giving the error. Why it is giving error? When you are going to initialize the array, you should tell the size. So size, it will be 0 or more than that. It's 100 or 10, whatever it is. Based on your requirement, you can declare what is the array size. So this is the valid one. So in this case, 10 elements is going to maintain with the default value. Integer is default value is 0. Then all will be pointing to A. So this is the way you can create an integer. So now backend memory is allotted for 10 elements with the reference of A. Similarly, you can write it the same way, like A1 new int of 10. Okay. As I said earlier, whatever the declarations you have given, you declared it here. And this declared values is used at below. The same thing you can put it in single line also. Instead of this one, you can just put it here also. I'm just putting everything in single line now. So these things you can get rid of. So A is 10, A1 is 10, B2, you can declare it, just initialize it after some time. Okay, so this is the notation, you can use it. This one we call it as a single dimensional. So this is the single dimensional. Okay, so this single dimensional, how you can store the values? That means you are going to be, you need to assign the value, right? So you just declare it. But what about values? So if you print it, so system dot out dot println, okay, when you're trying to print, it will be object notation. If you see, this is a new means you're creating an object. Okay, this is a primitive type, but backend it will be taking as in different way, like this. It will be taking integer a of new integer of 10. So at backend it will take it like this, but here you are writing as int. So int is the primitive type, but Java is don't have non-object way. Everything will be object. So internally what it will do, whatever the primitive type you are using, it will be converting into a object like this, integer a of new integer. So when you are going to deal with integers, if you print this a value, okay, So if you print this a value, the result will be coming it as a object value. If you run it, you cannot able to read it. That is a object notation. See this one? This is the output coming. So this is the result is coming it as a. So that means this is a object notation. So this value will be showing like this. Inside this a will be having the actual values, whatever value you required. So let's take, if I want to display index 0 value. So index 0 means you should put it like this. If you run it, you can see that default value, whatever it is there. So default value is 0. As I said, whatever the 10, the size of the a integer a, so default values are assigned with the 10. Okay, so the complete set of array with the default values 0 0 0 like this. If you want to display ninth, that means index 9, the last one, that is also will be 0. Okay, now if I want to put some value, that is assigning. So if I want to assign some value for that, a of 9 is equal to 100. Then if I print it, standard out dot println a of 9. So here it should come 100. So first initially it was 0, then I replace it to 0 to 100. So here I am using two standard out dot printlns. This is the before copy, this is after copy, because I was inserted at index 9, value is 100. Okay, so this is the way you can assign the values based on the index. So you are telling that my array size is 10. I want to insert a value at index 9, 100. What about the remaining? Remaining will be as usual. Okay. So now let's print all the array elements. So how you can print all the array elements? So you know that we have control statements. By using that you can print. So I am using for here int I. It should starts from 0. Okay, because array starts from index 0. Okay, so you need to declare it as 0 I less than, I have total 10 elements. I have total 10 elements. Then I plus plus. So let's display it standard out dot println a of index I. Okay, so a of I. If you run it, so for time being, let me comment this one, these two lines, because I want to see this, what the output is giving. See here, starts from 0, it's a 100 is there. So total it will be having 10 elements, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So all are filled with the default values. Wherever you are assigning at index based, that will be coming it as a value. So let's take, if I add one more entry, it's a fifth location, it should be a 40. If you run it, it's a 40 came at the position of sixth index. Index is 5, but position will be at sixth location, 1 2 3 4 5 6, because array starts from 0. Okay, so if I put it a of 0, is 10, so it starts from 0. The first one will come as a 10, the rest will be 0. Wherever the specifically I was assigned the value, that will be displaying in the output. So this is the notation. You can use it, the values, and inserting the values in this particular index based. Okay, and to retrieve the values we are using for loop at here.